where people like LeBron James who he's a victim in my mind of CNN, are leading us. So for all the Twitter blue checks and pampered China-owned NBA princesses of poof, Michael Woods, interim police chief in Columbus, explains the horrible, traumatic decision officers are sometimes forced to make.
When officers are faced with someone employing deadly force can be the response the officer gives. If there's not deadly force being perpetrated on someone else at that time, an officer may have the opportunity to have cover, distance, and time to use a taser. But if those things aren't present and there is an active assault going on in which someone could lose their life, the officer can use their firearm to protect that third person.
A friend of mine who's a cop teaches self-defense and combat training. And it used to be that they would have public officials come and try this out so that they could stand in the shoes of cops to see what that was like. And what my friend told me is almost invariably the public officials would make the wrong decision. Their shoots would be the bad shoots, particularly if you employ pain, particularly if you are shooting, let's say, paintballs, and if you make a mistake, you get hit and it hurts. To protect themselves from a paintball, they would take someone down virtually. It would make it a bad shoot. You know what? Public officials will no longer do that. Training. Because I think it's very painful to realize you're in the business of criminalizing or demonizing cops, and you just learned you can't do the job. LeBron James has enormous physical skill. I don't know a thing about the man's intellect. I've never heard him speak. I've only seen his tweets, so I don't want to be unfair. But when you tweet you're next about a cop who was faced with the decision, do I let this young black woman kill this other young black woman? And the race only matters because we live in America and the country's being divided by race. That's the decision this cop face, who happens to be white, there's no hint of him having any form of racism. You're next. This is an NBA player. How is this possible given the fact that we have now in the White House ensconced behind a militarized fence with people with guns guarding him? Joe Biden. Joe Biden and now his dementia have been in government forever. And if systemic racism is a real thing, Biden's a major reason for systemic racism. And here he is bragging about his accomplishments.
The truth is, every major crime bill since 1976 has come out of this Congress. Every minor crime bill has had the name of the Democratic senator from the state of Delaware, Joe Biden, on that bill. And has had a majority vote of the Democratic members of the United States Senate on the bill.
So that's Joe Biden back in the day. LeBron James. Is Joe Biden next? Systemic racism. Rush had an operating procedure for dealing with victims of CNN, like, for instance, LeBron James.
LeBron James was on TV this morning. He's going to say he would use his platform to speak out further about these issues. And of course, he's been a big proponent for the Black Lives Matter. So I'm suggesting as possible solution, use your platform
LeBron James is somebody's mind I can't change. I'm not going to change LeBron James' mind. Like Scalia told me once, it's not going to change Stephen Breyer's mind on anything. He doesn't even try. And I wouldn't waste my time trying to. But the same people who listen to LeBron James might listen to me, or vice versa. And he's now put himself in the arena of ideas, which is where I live every day. He's gone from the basketball court to the arena of ideas. And so I just choose to deal with this in a different way. My target has always been what I call the audience, the people, the population. I don't waste my time challenging Al Gore or Tom Steyer or Leonardo DiCaprio or any of these people, because it's showbiz, and half, if not more, of what they're doing is showbiz. And they really don't know what they're talking about anyway half the time. They're engaged in emotional appeals. That's why I don't engage these people doing emotional things, because it's a total waste of time. All that's going to happen is that you upset the very delicate emotional place they created for themselves, where they think they're doing God's work. They think they're doing the Lord's work. They think they're mattering. They think they're making a difference. And I come along and point out that a hashtag is probably about as effective as not saying anything. And they can't handle it. And I became public enemy number one for about 5 days, maybe 5 hours, which didn't bother me, don't miss it, but it doesn't accomplish anything except a media show. And I just have never rolled that way.
So that was Russia's modus operandi in dealing or not dealing with people like LeBron James. Remember the imagination scenario that we engage in at the top of this hour? We're talking about you can't find your car keys. What if the neighborhood couldn't have found the cop when one young woman was intending to kill another young woman with a knife? What if they couldn't find the cop? Hey, LeBron, I won't speak to you because I am a student of EIB, but I'll speak to people who follow LeBron. If LeBron James continues to threaten cops, you won't be able to find one when you need one. And if you think not finding your car keys is bad, we'll come back and I'll show you something. Rush Limbaugh still dominates the news cycle. It's Todd Herman, your guide host this week on the EIB Network.
Rush lives up.
Down al fresco.
You get.
Another long set of the best variety starts now. B101.
Play each other. The winner of that game, one game, the winner of that game is